It's no secret that I love Devil May Cry. It's one of my most talked about franchises on my channel, and with the anime coming up sometime this year, if the rumors are to be believed, I was thinking to myself, what else could they do to move the franchise further? So I got with a friend and decided to discuss some of the things Capcom could do with the franchise, and this is what we came up with. Alright, go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Tshaw1467. I am a Twitch streamer who, like Cyber, has an undying love for Devil May Cry. It's one of my favorite, or one of my favorite franchises ever, and just yeah, that's just what I primarily play. So.
Yeah, it's his forte. Both of us. It was funny because we have another friend named Ben, who we did a thing a while back where we were playing Kingdom Hearts, and he introduced me to T-Shaw as we were like playing, and he was like, "Oh, he also loves Devil May Cry. It's all his his Twitch stuff is in there." I'm like, "Oh, I have the same thing." Like I have in my for my channel points, it's red orbs, and then for his is gold orbs, but it's it's pretty much our whole Twitch setup is Devil May Cry stuff. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. So I was like, I need to make a Devil May Cry video, but I want to have somebody else that also loves Devil May Cry. So I was like, let me pull T-Shaw because he also knows it probably just as well as I do.
Yeah, and just again, thank you so much for having me be a part of this. I'm excited to talk about like what theories and what we would want to see.
Yeah,
for the Devil May Cry future. So.
Yeah, because right now the rumor is that the new anime is coming out I think this year, but we have we know virtually nothing aside from like 3 characters are going to be in it for sure, and it's Dante, Virgil, and Lady. So I was like, okay, well, what with this coming, what else could Capcom do? Because Capcom's kind of been on a roll recently with like the Resident Evil stuff. But they really don't do a whole lot of love for all their other franchises. But recently, Devil May Cry's been getting a lot of love with the special edition of adding Virgil recently to Devil May Cry 5 in the past couple of years. And now the anime is coming out, which has been rumored for like the past 5 years. We finally are getting stuff about it. So I thought it would be a cool idea to talk about what we'd want for future Devil May Cry. And so I have 4 or 5 ideas here of things, of talking points we can get to. Specifically, the first 3 are going to be what we would want to see since Resident Evil's beginning remakes. What if the first 3 Devil May Cry games got remakes? And the reason I said the first 3 is because anything like PlayStation 2 and earlier for Resident Evil games has been getting remakes from Resident Evil 4 and back have gotten remakes. So I was like, okay, well DMC 4 and DMC 5 are obviously way too new to get remakes. So 3 and back, I thought would be cool ideas for remakes. So let's start with DMC 1, and then move on to DMC 2, and then 3, and then we can talk about our theories that we have for the anime, and then we can finally, as the last talking point, we can get to ideas we have for Devil May Cry 6. So let's start with DMC 1, and since you're the guest, I'll let you go first. What ideas do you have if DMC 1 ever got a remake?
Okay, so one thing that I would want right off the bat is the style system. Mm-hmm. I'd say maybe kind of like how Devil May Cry 3 did it, where you have the ability to choose which style you would want going in.
Yeah, right off the fly.
Yeah, going into the mission, and just kind of do it how like original vanilla Devil May Cry 3 did. But since Devil May Cry 1 and Devil May Cry 3 are like so radically different, we want to balance it to the point where it doesn't like completely break the game.
Right.
So yeah, instead of like the freestyle system that special edition on the Nintendo Switch has, just have it be like normal Devil May Cry 3, like you pick one and you can change with the goddess statue or
right.
Something like that. And that would be one thing that I would think that they would do for
Yeah,
before the Devil May Cry 1 remake.
and building off of that, I think it'd be cool since the DMC3 remaster that they did, where they had the two versions where you can do the original, the vanilla version, but then there's the one where you can switch on the fly. I think it would be cool, lore wise, since I would assume that they would do the same thing if they did another DMC3 remaster to switch on the fly. It would make sense lore wise to also be able to do the same thing, but make it like an option, like where you can, like, before you start the game, choose, do you want to choose beforehand or do you want to be able to switch on the fly? I think that'd be pretty cool.
I agree. I feel like having that option would really help it too.
And it would just make sense because obviously 1 takes place after 3 in the timeline sense, so it only makes sense to include the style system. Now, would they bring back Doppelganger and Quicksilver? Probably not. I think it would just go with the original 4. But there is the Bangle of Time, which kind of replaces Quicksilver anyways, so I don't think that would be a huge problem anyways. And Doppelganger, nobody really used that one anyways.
Yeah. One idea that I did actually have, I don't know if they're gonna implement it or anything, but one thing that I would love to see is like maybe kind of like a style for both Ifrit and Alistar. Like I know that they have like their own like unique movesets and stuff, but just to make them more unique in their own way, have them have their own like styles and whatnot.
Well, I mean, I guess that can kind of go in line with, since they have the handguns and the shotgun for, coming into, DMC1 as guns, and they have unique things that you can do if you use Gunslinger. I guess what they could do is just have special things that Ifrit and Alistar can do in Swordmaster. You know what I mean? Like special things that they didn't have in the original game to kind of spice up the moves.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And going into weapons, since we're here anyways, I think they should include more weapons, because one of the things that Devil May Cry's kind of been known for now is when you beat a boss, you get a weapon, you get a double arm based off of that boss. So I think including a couple more bosses that you can then get that item from them, since we know that we're probably not going to get anything from Griffin or from Phantom, or maybe we can get items from Phantom and Griffin. That would be pretty cool. Like imagine like a magma weapon that you can get after killing Phantom, or like a lightning weapon after defeating Griffin. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. I agree. One other thing too, like maybe not necessarily like weapons from them, but like you could kind of like with how Nero has in Devil May Cry 4, when you beat the boss, you get like their special ability or something, kind of like with Kratos and Nero's double arm, like
right.
Just to kind of have like more abilities, but like have the abilities from Phantom go to Ifrit, and
that'd be pretty cool. Since Ifrit's already fire, like just have like lava plumes come up whenever you use Ifrit.
Yeah. You know, like the super overpowered move, like Inferno, right?
Yeah.
So what I was thinking, like, we could do how when Phantom sticks his head in the ground and shoots lava plumes out of the ground, that could be
like if he hits the ground and then a lava plume comes up.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, and then since Griffin already uses lightning, and then you just have Alistar, just include some some Griffin abilities into Alistar whenever you beat Griffin.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling.
Yeah, but we could still add some new items based off of bosses that we fight that aren't similar to weapons that Dante gets. You know what I mean? So like if you defeat Shadow, you can get a cool like thing that allows you to attack with darkness or whatever. That'd be pretty cool too. Like whenever you defeat just like a boss that doesn't have an ability similar to like a Devil Arm that Dante will get later.
Yeah, I like that.
Another thing, since weapons, Do you think that the rebellion should come into play in DMC one, since it was never really a thing until DMC two? It would only make sense for him to have it in DMC one. Now, people kind of explain it away as saying like, oh, he didn't want to use it because he wanted to use his father's sword, since if he knows it's going to be Mundus, he wants to use his dad's sword to make it a more personal thing.
Yeah, I think one thing that they could do for that is they could still have like the Force Edge, but like have the rebellion be like an unlock or something like that. You beat normal or hard mode, and the rebellion is just a stronger version of the Force Edge, because I feel like since the Force Edge has such an integral
It's got a very big part of the story, yeah.
Yeah, just I'd say still have the rebellion, but have it be like a post game like unlock or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Now, obviously, like some of the graphics and stuff needs to be fixed and remove the the fixed camera angle and stuff. But probably the biggest thing I think that they should fix with it is like there's stuff in like the story that I'm sure they can update, since obviously when it first came out they didn't know how far the story was going to go. There was a lot of retcons that they did as the story went by. So I think if they make a remake, they obviously should update the story, have it to where Dante doesn't think that Virgil died in the house with his mom. Obviously change it to where he, talks about, maybe have him talk about Virgil a lot more before he fights Nello Angelo. You know what I mean? Make it kind of fit into the story of DMC 3 better.
No, I agree. I think just having him talk more about Virgil, and then like maybe his suspicion, like when he first meets Nello Angelo, or like maybe even like the second fight, he could be like, he has a lot of like the same mannerisms of Virgil, or like he fights a lot like Virgil did, or something like that, so that it could allude to the fact that Dante has like a feeling, is this Virgil? And then when we get to the Nello 3 fight, it's that more of a build up.
Yeah, and when his face is revealed, he actually recognizes him rather than him only recognizing him after his pendant falls.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would make it more impactful that he recognizes him and then realizes what happened, and then, yeah, I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, there's not really too much I think you have to fix with DMC 1. Obviously, graphics, add some stuff to make the story match better, but I think honestly, we kind of got everything I would want from DMC 1.
Yeah, same here, honestly. I can't think of anything else that would be like this needs to be fixed or anything like that. So.
Right. I mean, the missions, obviously, I think there's one other thing is the underwater mission, I think, can be removed.
I agree.
I don't think that... I feel like that's way too different from, like, the style of the modern DMC games now, that I feel like it just kind of would feel out of place. But beyond that, you can still have, like, a ghost ship section where, like, the ghost ship starts to move or whatever, and have him, like, fight, the boss there, and I think that'd be pretty cool. But just remove, like, him having to go underwater. I think it'd be a good change. But beyond that, I think we can move on to DMC 2.
Yeah, sounds good. I guess the one thing that I would absolutely say to change about DMC 2 is Dante himself.
Right.
100% Dante himself.
100%, yeah. Because I'll say one thing, right? The story itself, I feel like the biggest problem people have with the game isn't really the story itself. I feel like it's the way Dante acts and how easy the game was. There was nothing really unique about the area itself. I never really had a big issue with the story. I think the story was fine, albeit generic. They can probably fix it a little bit. But I would say a complete overhaul of how the game functions, and then change how Dante acts.
No, I completely agree. Like, the one thing I will say that I do enjoy about Devil May Cry 2 is how acrobatic Dante is. It kind of reminds me of Trickster a little bit, of how acrobatic he is.
Right.
Like his kick flips off the wall, and like just his dive. I love like his dodge roll dive thing.
Yeah. Oddly enough, the when he does the guns thing, when he like does the little spin thing, they used that for DMC 3 for the gunslinger style whenever he's in the air. So I
This
think
is true.
so I think that, again, add the styles to the game, and then it would just make even more sense that he's able to do all these cool things.
Yeah, and then obviously the next big thing is to
Nerf the guns
itself, because it's just pretty much press square to win, or press the fire button to win.
Yeah, and they did fix that in DMC 3. Obviously, it was mostly just for keeping up style and to keep the monsters in the air while you're moving over towards them, stuff like that.
Yeah, so definitely nerf the guns. And I honestly, like, I'd say that the swords themselves, like, I feel like I feel like that they're good. I do like the designs of them, but I feel like just because that the guns are so massively overpowered and broken, it's just like, what's the point if I can just stand far away and just shoot them to death?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I feel like with DMC 2 being such a massive like problem, I feel like there's not a lot of problems, but the problems that that are there, they're just big. It's not that there's a lot of small problems. It's just there's a few really big problems that they need to fix. Obviously, like the story and how Dante acts, which are like the two biggest problems of the entire thing. Because again, I like the Lucia story. I like the story of Argosax. Again, I feel like something that 1 and 2 also need fixing is like their dialogue needs to be a little bit more updated, and I think you could still have the original voice actors come back and voice them because they're not too much older than where they should be in the games. So I think just bringing back the voice actors would be fine, and having the newer voice actors kind of act like themselves again, so that way they can kind of fix the problems that people had with Dante.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like also, I feel like the one thing with the story that they could really improve upon is focusing on like Arius and Argosax's manipulation of Arius, because really Argosax isn't really all that mentioned. Like, I know he is mentioned a couple times, but it's not like, oh, this is the big bad. It's like,
yeah, they're building up Arius more than they're building up Argosax. So I feel like, yeah, I agree. They build up the story of Argosax, even if you just want to have it in the background a little bit, like have him find stuff talking about like the people of the island who used to worship Argosax before, and that's who Arius is trying to find. It'll be a much bigger like build up to the final fight with Argosax, because Argosax was in the lore, he was almost as powerful as Mundus, to the point where they had to split the underworld for have Mundus rule one half and Argosax rule the other. So you got to have a much bigger build up. I agree.
Yeah, and honestly, like even like how they portrayed Mundus in the first game too. I wouldn't mind like seeing a little symbol or anything of like a symbol of Argosax like behind Arius or something, kind of like how Mundus with the 3 red eyes, like so that way you could build that sense of like, oh, what is controlling Arius?
Right. Yeah,
and
I agree.
It's more of a build of how powerful Argosax is.
Yeah. Another thing is, I feel like they can update the Devil Trigger too, like have it look more like his original Devil Trigger, except for the final fight with Mundus, because obviously he's supposed to look like his dad there, and that's what's supposed to be intimidating Mundus. But before that, have his own unique Devil Trigger, and then when he gets the Sparta like in its final form, and he's in that pocket dimension that Mundus pulls him in, have him look like his father, just to kind of put that intimidation onto Mundus. But beyond that,
yeah, no, I agree. I think it would be cool to like have him have his own Devil Trigger, and plus, and honestly, like his demon form or into is actually pretty cool. And
yeah,
I don't know, I do really love Dante's design in 2.
Yeah, I would say the design was good. It's just the way he acts needs to change.
Yeah, absolutely. I do actually have a thing that just popped in my head. What are your thoughts on the amulet system and like Majin form? Like what would you say that they would do for both those systems? Because if we're still wanting to have like the style system in it, how would like the amulets come into play? How would Majin form come into play?
That's interesting because yeah, obviously there's different stuff that they collect throughout the games. Like obviously the Bangle of Time, where it's one of the things that changes the game, and then the amulets do cool things in the game. I feel like they could probably nerf them a little bit, but they could still have them like, I don't know, maybe have like a separate style in order to use them. Like kind of how like DMC3 you can hit the button twice and change it to Quicksilver or whatever, and you can still have the amulet system to kind of make it unique in and of itself. Or just completely like they could probably just try and forego the whole amulet system entirely if that's maybe too much for them. But the Majin form I think is fine to keep. It's kind of almost like the Dreadnought form that Dante gets for using Royal Guard in 4.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I feel like that can be kept and have it almost like the Sin Devil Trigger form as well in 5, where you just like, if you want to keep that, just have it to where he has to press a separate button or hold down the Devil Trigger button and then can change into the Majin form.
Yeah, I like that, and I'd say honestly too, maybe nerf it a little bit because like you can completely decimate anything, which I mean is kind of the point with like the Majin form and Sin Devil Trigger is just to like decimate everything.
Right, but it does take. I was gonna say the Sin Devil Trigger form has a much longer build up, and it doesn't last very long.
Yeah, whereas with Majin form, your entire like Devil Trigger gauge just gets completely filled. Granted, a big chunk gets taken out as you attack or shoot or whatever, but just the amount of damage it does is crazy.
Yeah, so I'd say kind of balance it out, like the amount of damage. Have the amount of damage reflect how long you're going to be in the form.
Yeah.
I feel like the next one is probably not going to be as long because DMC3, I feel like is the one that can change the least, because I feel like it still holds up enough to this day that I think the only thing you really need is like a remaster.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I feel like the only thing I would say necessarily to change about Devil May Cry 3 is, I'll be honest, some of the enemy patterns absolutely suck. Along with the enemies themselves, they absolutely suck. I have a personal grudge against the Enigmas, so
yeah, I feel like they can keep the design, but just kind of change it to balance it better.
Yeah, meaning like attacks and stuff like that, or just like the way that they move and all that stuff, or it would be the only thing that I would change, because I do love the designs of them. They're just a pain to fight.
Yeah, in 5 they actually reused a lot of the designs of 3, including like the scissors. I love the designs of the scissors, but I feel like they need to act more like they do in 5, because in 3 they're very annoying.
No, I agree.
Even in 1 was even more annoying.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
So yeah, I think just like a remaster, have it look like modern Devil May Cry, kind of like how like Peak of Combat. Even though I'm not a big fan of Peak of Combat, I like the design that they went with and like the art style or whatever. So kind of make it look like it, and then have like obviously don't use the fixed camera angle, and I think you're pretty much good after that.
Honestly, yeah, I agree. Can't really think of anything else I would want out of that aside.
Oh, also get rid of like the platforming squares. Those suck.
Oh yeah, especially Secret Mission 12.
Because the secret missions make them easier because they're very annoying in 3. Like they were almost impossible. I couldn't beat most of them because of just how annoying they were.
No, yeah, I just have like Vietnam flashbacks of just struggling on all of those, especially the last one. That's the one that I spent the most time on. And granted, the first time that I tried it, I didn't have Trickster all the way maxed out.
Yeah.
So it was it was a pain.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Also, I would say like There's also another thing that I found annoying was like that random boss rush section that they had in the middle of like the what was mission 19 or 18, somewhere around there.
I think it was 18.
Yeah, and like I didn't like the boss. Like if you wanted to have like a boss rush section, I would say make that a game mode, but not have it be part of the main story because I felt like that was very annoying.
Yeah.
Have it like just like have it be like a different puzzle to like solve because I do like the puzzle systems of 1 and 3. So I would say keep the puzzle stuff, but just change the boss rush to just a different puzzle, and I think we're good.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I did actually think of while you were saying that is I like Arkham as a villain, but I do not like his boss fight at all.
I agree. I feel like they could have made it a little more interesting. His design, I like the design because obviously it's supposed to reflect him, you know, it's supposed to reflect his heart because obviously Sparta himself wasn't evil, but now we have an evil guy using his power for evil, so it's kind of reflecting his heart. But make his fight a little more interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Just like the whole thing, I like to call his little dragon things or whatever they are as dolphins because just that. I don't know. It's just I don't like. I know you can really cheese them with Kalina Ann and gain your Devil Trigger back with them, but honestly, when you get to the second phase with Virgil and you can't use your Devil Trigger anymore, that's when it just gets really annoying.
Yeah. Honestly, honestly, the Virgil thing too, you could probably change that now because I think the reason why they had it to where he's connected to a button was I feel like it was technical limitations, but now that they have the stuff that they did with 5, I feel like you don't need to do that now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think it'd be pretty cool to just like have it be like a person that you can have on the side, and he can just act what's it called, autonomously from you. How like they did with Luis in Resident Evil 4, just have him like help you out every now and then. I think that'd be easy enough. If you go into your Devil Trigger, it will trigger his Devil Trigger and make it even easier. I feel like that's the only thing you really need to have be simultaneous with you. I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool. And that would be kind of more of like a dynamic, like, oh, the two brothers are teaming up together to take down Arkham, this big bad, instead of just like, well, I mean, that's what the premise that they were going for was, but it's just like if they're both acting on their own as opposed to Virgil just following your every move that you do.
Yeah, I agree. Well, now we only have 2 talking points left, and I feel like these are going to be even longer because, well, at least the last one's going to be longer. I think this one's not going to be too bad. But what are your thoughts on what the anime is going to be like?
I remember just like conversation that you and I had before, just like the anime is most likely going to be based off of the Devil May Cry 3 manga, which with like how it is confirmed that Dante, Lady, and Virgil are going to be in the anime. I wonder if that's just going to be a retelling of the manga, maybe just like a little bit more of like that year, or maybe I would like to see like you could do some like Dante's like more goofy shenanigans, like maybe like him purchasing or getting the building that becomes Devil May Cry, and
so a little bit of
so like
so a little bit into that in that video that I sent you. I don't know if you saw it, but in the beginning it shows that he purchased it with the help of Enzo. So I wonder if the anime is going to have Enzo in it and have him like showing him like his build up or whatever, getting to the shop or whatever. But it also might be might have a slight retelling of the DMC1 light novel that came out that they had to kind of do some retcons with. But it's like him in his time as a mercenary before he got his shop as well. Because in the trailer for the anime, it looks like he doesn't have Ebony and Ivory. So it might be maybe the first half of the anime is him as a mercenary, and then the second half is him meeting up with Virgil and finding Lady, or like maybe even telling Lady's backstory a little bit better. Because there was a third manga that was supposed to come out telling Lady's story that just never came out. So I'm wondering if they could go a little bit into that route as well, and then have it to where like Dante is Tony Redgrave first. You get the pistols from Nell before she dies, and then move on to the shop and find Virgil, and then go into a little bit of Lady's backstory a little bit as well.
That would be cool too. And honestly, maybe another thing too is like we could see maybe a little bit more of like Arkham's obsession too. Like if we are gonna do Lady's backstory as well in the anime, I would love to see like maybe see Arkham be a good person, and then just have him like stumble upon like Sparta's power and see, or like your glimpses of Sparta's like power and stuff like that, and
or like the stories that people told of Sparta that made him obsessed with trying to find it.
Yeah, and then have that fall, or have that shown like his fall to being obsessed with Sparta, and
then gaining the power of, because he did, after he killed his wife, he gained a little bit of demonic power, but it wasn't what he was searching for. It gave him different personalities, multiple personalities. One of which obviously being Jester, but another one from the manga that he also gained was the White Rabbit, based on the Alice in Wonderland stories. So maybe see him getting different personalities or whatever, because we only ever got to see 2 of the multiple personalities that he gained. So I would love to see like what other personalities he gained from that.
Yeah, that would be cool. And just kind of like how, another thing I would love to see in the anime too, it's just still going along with Lady's backstory of just how like how she reacts to seeing how Arkham changes, and then how she transitions to who she was to who she is now, how she got like Kalina Ann, her all her arsenal, all that stuff.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I wonder if she got her arsenal. It would be pretty cool if she got her arsenal from the same people who also made Dante's weapons. That would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that would be really cool.
And then like have her get trained by some like mercenaries that Dante used to work for, but that's why she doesn't know him, because he's no longer working with the mercenaries, because he had left a long time ago, because he got blamed for the death of Nell. And so now they like having all these mercenaries train her. That's how they can explain how she gained all that skill from when she was a kid to where she is now, at least at the point of DMC 3, of why she's so good at killing demons, despite being a human.
That would be cool.
So
yeah, I like that.
I think that would be a pretty cool thing for the anime. I don't think there's really too much, because obviously it's just like, it looks like it's just going to be his backstory first, but there is going to be multiple seasons, so I'm wondering if maybe like the first season is going to be him as Tony Redgrave, or if it's going to be the first half of Tony, second half is Dante in his shop, and then the next season will be like another point in history that they're just going to fill in the gap with. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, hopefully it comes out soon.
Well, the rumor is it comes out this year, 2024, so hopefully it comes out this year. That'd be pretty cool. Now, the coup de grace, the Devil May Cry 6 ideas. What's your number one hope for a Devil May Cry 6? What do you want to see?
Me personally, I would love to see Mundus return.
Yeah, that was my number one. Is obviously he's not dead. He wasn't killed. He was just resealed. But now I feel like they're powerful enough that I feel like it should be a fight between Dante and Virgil against Mundus, but then have them struggle, and so Nero has to come in and help him and take him out. Because what if like Mundus is now like realizing how powerful they are, so now he's trying to build up his own power, and he's like doing all these things to like get, because in the lore, human blood powers up demons. So what if he's like, for the past however many years he's been sealed, he's been sending out troops to bring humans into the demon world for him to consume, so now he is much more powerful than he was in 1. So they think they're going to be able to beat him because they think that he's been sealed, but really he's been biding his time.
I like that too. And honestly, like another thing that they could do is like kind of like with the Caliphate, with its roots and stuff, how it killed the people of Redgrave City, and just like that, and it fueled like the tree itself, all that stuff. I feel like maybe Mundus could have like his own version of maybe the Caliphate, and just like you said, like bide his time, and he's just slowly killing people without like Dante noticing, like, oh, a lot of people are dying over here. I should see what's what's going on.
Yeah, so for like the past 20 years, I think that he's been sealed. He's like slowly getting, instead of like getting a huge amount of it, like what Virgil was doing, he's instead getting smaller amounts of it, and maybe not getting like, because obviously the Qliphoth fruit only grows every 2,000 years, which is why Virgil was able to do it when he did, because it had been so long since Mundus had gotten it the first time. So maybe he's trying to build his own thing. Maybe he's just like collectively getting a vat of blood or whatever for him to finally consume of just humans for like the past 20 years. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Maybe like a twist that they could do is like Mundus could like possibly toy with them, be like, oh, I've been sealed away for 20 years, I'm not strong enough. And when Dante and Virgil feel like that they're gonna win, Mundus pulls out that vat of blood and says, like, did you really think I was just here biding my time or not doing anything? Then absorbs the blood that he collected and then gets all that,
like,
more
gets his
power.
own, like, maybe he gets his own, like, because like for like the phase 2 he can like transform into like his own like version of Devil Trigger, not really Devil Trigger, but like his own like final form thing, and like shed that godlike complex that he had and then show his true form.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and then I think what they could do is obviously have Dante and Virgil come back at the from the underworld, but then seeing that there's people who are like worshipping Mundus and trying to revive him, so they're trying to stop him, but then they realize that he's been back all this time, and so that's what the whole story is, maybe them building up to them finally realizing that Mundus has been back the whole time, even though they think they stopped them from bringing him back. He's been back this whole time anyways. And so maybe have it to where since it's the DMC 6, have 6 playable characters. And so obviously your 5 would be Dante, Virgil, Nero, Lady, and Trish. But then my idea that I had was, people have always talked about, oh, who's going to be like the 6th character. People have always said, oh, what if we get, because there's not a whole lot of characters to really pull from for like returning characters. So you could either make a brand new character, or there's 2 returning characters people really talk about. They either talk about Patty or Lucia. Lucia would be cool, but I thought of Lucia, it feels too much like a generic fighter, at least in DMC2. Maybe you could have her come back as like a special edition, or like have V and Lucia come back in a special edition, and have him not be canon, like how they do with Virgil, have him play through like all the missions or whatever and be non-canon. That'd be pretty cool for V and Lucia. But I was thinking bringing in Patty. Now, everybody who thinks of Patty, they think, oh, they can have her be trained by, like, Lady and Trish and have her just be another walking arsenal. But I feel like that's too much like Lady. So I thought of using her actual lore that she got from the anime. For people who don't know anything about the anime, Patty Lowell was introduced in the first episode as, like, a scapegoat for another person who is also of the same name. So they didn't know anything about Patty's story. They thought they did. So throughout the entire anime, we're just following her, and at the very end, it's revealed that she is the descendant of somebody known as Alan Lowell, who was a guy who manipulated demons to do things of his own, like, pretty much he was controlling them to fight for him. So I'm thinking, what if Patty is another V and is a puppet fighter? And is just controlling demons, using she somehow unlocks this power that she had from her ancestors, who, I think Alan was a sorcerer or whatever, have her, like, unlock these powers of being able to control demons.
Honestly, that would be really cool. I would love to see her, like, one thing that she could do is, like, she could, like, weaken the demons up to a point, to the point where she can take them over and then have them fight against, like,
the other demons.
The other demons. Like maybe that could be like her quote unquote devil trigger, even though I know she's not part demon, but just
right. That could be her, like, that DT gauge that she would gain. Instead of it being a DT gauge, it could be like her just using, like, her powers to take over other demons. But also maybe she could have, like, 2 demons that are, like, nicer demons that she's controlling, that can fight for her while she does her other stuff on the side, kind of like what V, it could, obviously she has to play different from V. Instead of having, the demons fight and then V does the finishing blow. Instead, they can still have it to where her demons can kill them, but she also on the side could then take over like the weaker demons that that she didn't kill and have them fight at the same time.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that'd be a cool idea because everybody's like, "Oh, have Patty fight just like Lady." I'm like, "No, that's too similar to Lady. Why not just have Lady?" Obviously, I think Lady should also have her her arsenal updated to be a little bit cooler. Have her own special gauge or whatever. But I think it'd be cool to have them like try and train Patty, but she's too nice or whatever. She's not, she can't. She's too afraid to use guns or whatever. So then they like, oh, well, how are we gonna have her fight? But they still have teach her acrobatics and stuff, so she can still like jump around and stuff. But instead of maybe like while they're training her, she gets upset that she's trying to help out Dante, but she can't do anything, and then it unlocks that power, and now she's like controlling like a smaller demon that can like fly around and shoot, and then can another like bigger demon that can attack kind of like Griffin and Shadow, but instead it's two different demons. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, what other ideas did you have for 6?
I guess like another idea is with Nero's new like devil form, since he doesn't have like the Yamato in like with 4 and just that persona-esque thing behind him. Like I feel like that at first, since he isn't used to having like a devil form, it could be like have him struggle at first to control it and stuff, and then near the end like realize that that he can control it now, and that he's far more powerful than Dante or Virgil because of it. So it's kind of what I was feeling.
That might be what they're going to try and do, since Dante and Virgil are getting pretty old. They might want to retire, and they're going to need somebody to kind of take over once Mundus is gone. And they have their revenge or whatever. They can retire and have Nero take over. I think that'd be pretty cool, and have it to be like, oh, they're only maybe they're still maybe like as powerful, or maybe just a little bit more powerful than him, just to kind of make it still make sense that they've been devil hunting for like 40 plus years, and he's only been doing it for 20 plus. So they obviously have to be more skilled, but maybe he has more power behind it. But they still can beat him because they're still more skilled, and they're like, even though they're not maybe as powerful, they can still like they have more experience.
Honestly, yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
honestly.
because they're older. Obviously, they're not going to be as powerful because you lose power as you get older or whatever. But they're still more skilled because they've been doing it a lot longer. And they were trained. They were actually trained by Sparta, so obviously they're going to have a little bit more skill power from a guy who was trained by knights, but maybe they didn't have the same skill set as like Sparta. Another cool thing they probably do is have it be like an online, like something they can do for like an online system that they do is. I've always liked the idea that they had with DMC5 where you can play with others during certain missions. I feel like have that be a little bit better than what they did last time, and have it be more than what they did last time, because it was cool in 5, but it was very few and far between when they did it. They maybe did like 2 or 3 missions where you played with other people like side by side. So maybe have more of that, since there's a lot more characters now, and you get to choose which character you want to play as, and then whatever character you choose, you can play with either somebody online or a comm if you're not playing online. So that way you can have multiple people travel together at once, instead of being like, oh, let's split up, and like what they did with Nero and V. So they can make it, how you can play with people more often. And then I think that'd be a pretty cool idea. I think that'd be something you can have to have people, and maybe if you're playing online, you get more red orbs than if you were not playing with somebody else. I think that'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah, no, I agree. Another thought that I had. One thing that they could do is okay, I don't like Pika combat either, but just like the thing is, I do kind of like that you can switch between like the different different characters and stuff. So I think that they could do like a little like something similar towards that, like where you can choose like who you want to go in. Like it could be like an extra mode or something like that. It doesn't have to pertain to the
It could be like a Bloody Palace mode thing, where you get like you get
Yeah,
to
kinda
choose
like a
2 or
Bloody
3
Palace.
hunters, and then you can go into the Bloody Palace, and then it's almost like one of those things in like other games where if that person dies, you then move, almost like Smash Brothers, right? In that mode that they do, where you choose 3 characters, and if that one dies, you have 2 other characters to play as.
Yeah, no, I think that would be a cool idea, just like a Bloody Palace, like something along those lines. I feel like that would be cool.
Yeah, like have Bloody Palace be like you can either play one player, or you can do like you can choose one character, and then see how far you can get, or you can try 3 characters and see how far you can get, and then maybe another thing they can do is like a boss rush mode as well. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I like that idea.
One final idea that I had was with the whole online system thing going, have like a traditional mission mode, where since they're still running a business, what if they now after the whole Redgrave incident, people now know the existence of demons, so now a lot more people know who Devil May Cry is and know what they're about, and now that Dante isn't there to kind of run the shop into the ground, Morrison is building up the company's reputation again using Lady and Trish, so now they're like getting more and more requests in than they usually do. So what if like when Dante and Virgil come back, they do the main story, but then you could also choose to do a side mission that could be like the Capcom could like make up missions and have like DLC missions, like free DLC missions that you like they give you to do like a side mission, like a side story where it's like, oh, there's this thing coming up and they're like, we need your help, and so like, okay, well, we'll do this on the side, but then we can do in the main mission still. You know what I mean? Like, they're still running their business on the side.
Yeah, no, I like that idea.
And then like they come in and bring in new, like Capcom will bring in new missions like every like maybe every month there's like a new set of missions you can try and do.
Yeah, no, I like that.
And then the higher your score you get from that mission, the more red orbs you'll get from beating the that mission. They'll be like, oh, you did the mission this well, so we're gonna pay you even more than we usually do.
I feel like also another thing that they could do is like have these side quests have like be their own difficulty too. Like you could have one just be like normal like human mode, and then there could be a harder one that's
oh
like
yeah, like there's a
mode
there's like a bigger
like
it's much harder because the mission they're giving you is a lot harder, and then maybe certain ones also require certain characters. So now they're forcing you to play a certain character for this mission. Like this person's like, oh, I'll take on this mission, and so you have to play as that character, and then you can that will help you. That'll help you like train with that one character. But then you can also try. They can also try different like mixtures of characters. So like, let's say, oh, we have these 5 missions. This mission's easy, and so Patty wants to take on this mission. But then these 2 missions over here are harder. So let's say like the Dante Must Die mode. Dante and Virgil want to work together to beat this one. So you have to play as these 2 characters, and so they can like
cool.
They can try different combinations of characters instead of being like, oh, I'm going to try this. I'm just going to play as this character. So it helps mix up the combinations that you wouldn't normally have from the main quest.
Yeah, and it gives more of an incentive as well to like practice with every single character. So like, especially like if, let's say, Lady gets a Dante Must Die-esque level, that's more of an incentive to like train up with her, like understand like how
she works,
how she works, and
what new stuff they want to like throw in for Lady's combat. And maybe even be like, oh, I can't beat this on my own, so let me pull in Nero to help me. And it's like a weird combination. You wouldn't expect Nero and Lady to be in a quest together, so let's try this.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. Like, obviously, the story is going to be a huge factor in it, and maybe go back into more people's backstory, whatever. And then when Dante and one thing I want to see at the end of the series, at the end of the game, Dante and Virgil finally retire, and have Dante get together with Lady. Like, they finally realize their feelings for each other, and then they get together.
You know, I would like that.
And then maybe future games could have their kid, like, they get to have a kid together, and then their child is working for Devil May Cry now.
That would be cool. And like, Nero could teach their child, too. Like, yeah. I mean, along with, like, Dante and Lady teaching them, like, you could have Nero and Virgil. Like, this kid could be, like, the most powerful, like...
Because you got Dante as his dad. Oh my god, that's gonna be like one of the strongest kids ever.
Right?
Another thing that I was thinking
Maybe
for like the story is go into Virgil's backstory a little bit if for when he was in Fortuna.
that would be cool too. And like maybe portray like Nero's mom a little bit more. I mean, we know who it is, but just like maybe
Shaver.
build on her character. A
Yeah,
little.
have it make sense of why they met, why Virgil decided he wanted to have a kid with her or whatever, and maybe have it be like he knew that she was gonna have a kid, but then maybe she dies like at birth or like she dies a little bit after. So now Virgil is like, she was kind of maybe taught Virgil some of the things that V kind of like he suppressed in V when he separated himself, and V was like remembering all these things. Maybe have it to where like her death kind of pushed him over the edge, and he decided to harden his heart and not feel love for anybody else ever again. And then he's the one who decides he wants to drop Nero off at the orphanage in that black blanket, and that's where his name came from. That'd be pretty cool. Like have like just a backstory mission where you're only playing as Virgil, and like Virgil goes into Fortuna and he's fighting demons, and I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Another thing that they could
Maybe like another thing too. Sorry to interrupt you.
oh, you good.
Maybe like another thing too is like maybe Nero's mom isn't actually dead, and maybe she was abducted by the demons, and like since Virgil now has like or is now just or has all like V's memories and everything, all that stuff, and has those feelings, like both Nero and Virgil could go and try and find
And save his mom or whatever, and then
Yeah.
and then both Virgil and Dante can have a happy ending.
yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, and have her like maybe he thinks that she died and then she didn't really die, and that's why he was like, okay, I'm gonna harden my heart because she died, and now I don't want to have these feelings. I'm gonna suppress these feelings to get stronger. And that'd be pretty cool. And then have him like them rescue her, and that's gonna be a mission that Nero and Virgil do together. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that could be like another like side mission too.
Yeah, like maybe it's like a mission that's a little bit down the road where they're like a couple months after the release of the game, they have special side missions where it affects the overall story, and so maybe they can get into more of the backstories or whatever.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah. Another thing, maybe they can have it to where like when you do a replay of the main story, you can choose. You can do a version of the thing where you can go through each one of the missions as only one character. So you want to choose one character and go through the entirety of the 20 missions as whatever character you want to play as. So that way it can mix up some of the gameplay a little bit. Like how in 4 you can choose Lady or Trish to play the whole game through as that one character. You can choose only one character to go through all those missions. Or before you choose a mission, choose a character that isn't the main quest character who's like the main focus of that quest.
Ooh, yeah, no, yeah, and yeah, it would definitely add a lot more of a replayability factor, and just more so of like the testing of different characters that you didn't have a chance to work
play
on
as. Yeah.
too.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, those were all of my ideas. I don't know if you had anything else to kind of contribute.
Honestly, I think I'm good. I don't have any other ideas I would like 100% want. So,
Yeah.
or that hasn't already been said. So
Right. Yeah, I think that's everything. I think beyond that, obviously after if this DMC 6 game that we're talking about ever gets made, if there's anything in the future, that'd be pretty cool as well. Like having just the games continue, like with the future of the DMC cast, and then maybe have like Dante and Virgil be special editions as like side characters to have them fully retire. I think that'd be pretty cool
Yeah.
if they want to continue the story onward from there. But obviously, I don't think 5 should have been the end of the Sons of Sparta story. I think if they want the end of the Sons of Sparta story, I think it needs to be with the death of Mundus, and I think Dante and Virgil fighting him at the end of 6 would be the true end of their storyline.
I agree.
So, well, that's all I had for today. I appreciate you coming out and recording this with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
The Discord was being a bit of a troublemaker at the beginning, but it seems like it's finally stabled out. It hasn't had any like issues since then. It hasn't been disconnecting us like it was for the past hour.
Yeah, right.
So that's going to be something I'm
Thanks.
going to have to figure out how to edit that out of there. But luckily, we did decide to re-say some of our lines, so hopefully it'll be easier in post-edit.
Yeah, hopefully.
So, but I appreciate you coming out. Is there anything you want to, go ahead and shill any of your socials before you go?
Well, like I said at the beginning, just I'm on Twitch. I'm live on Wednesdays and Fridays at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time usually. But yeah, I'm on Twitter. Honestly, those are just really like the main platforms that I'm on. So
Twitch and Twitter. Both of them are sludge fests apparently, but hey, you gotta have a social somewhere.
this is true.
Well, I appreciate you coming out here, T, and we gotta find a game to play together sometime soon. So,
Yes, for sure.
all right. Well, I appreciate you coming out, and I will see you guys in the next one. And those were our ideas for the future of Devil May Cry. One thing I have to throw in here before I go was something that I thought of as we stopped recording was an idea that I had for Patty as a playable character. With V being our only puppet fighter in DMC, he has Griffin, Shadow, and Nightmare, so obviously Patty would have her own ultimate like Nightmare. We could have a big demon for her to control. One idea that they could have as they got closer to the final mission was finding Abigail from the anime, the demon that her ancestor couldn't control, and being the one to control the demon and use it as her own sort of Sin Devil trigger. Whereas you can have another demon be her DT, but this could be her Sin Devil trigger gauge. Sort of like how Dante and Virgil have their own Sin Devil trigger gauge. Another thing was, what if Trish got her own Devil trigger and Sin Devil trigger as the story concluded? Lady would also need some really cool ultimates, like what if she decided to wield some of Dante's old devil arms to use as her shooting arsenal? One of the other ideas that I think you can do with Lady was having her have her own Devil trigger gauge, but not use it as a Devil trigger, but just have it to where she can do some ultimate moves. Like what if she decided to use up maybe one or two of the Devil trigger gauge and throw a bunch of grenades around her? Or if she used up 3 of her Devil trigger gauges, she can do an ultimate move like what she did in Devil May Cry 3, or just have like a cutscene or something small to have a cool thing for Lady to do, because one of the things that I loved about Devil May Cry 4 was the fact that you can play as Lady and Trish, but I feel like their arsenals need to be updated for a modern time. Those are just some cool final thoughts. Again, thank you so much to Tshaw for your thoughts on this video. If you guys want to go follow him, I'll leave all of his socials in the description. But what are your thoughts? What are some ideas that you guys think would be really cool for the ideas that we came up with? Or is there a brand new idea that you would want to see for the future of Devil May Cry? Leave me all your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you really like this video and want to see more like it, why not consider subscribing for more if you guys enjoyed, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. Also, check out all my socials in the description, as well as checking out my brand new Patreon if you guys want to support me further. And until next time guys, stay hype, stay awesome, stay weird, and be nice to each other. I'm Cybertech World, and I'll see you guys next time.